What's up, guys? So today I'm going to talk to you just a little bit. So the DJI Spark was updated recently, 2 days ago I believe, and in that update they added 180 degrees to their Pano mode. So what I'm planning on doing is throwing the Spark up in the sky and taking 4 180 degree panos. And basically what it's doing is it's not really stitching it together. What it does is it stitches it together in the drone, but it doesn't create a stitched photo. You have to export it while you're on the drone, and then it goes straight to your camera roll. So there's a good chance that I can do 4 180 degree panos just by using the software in my little Spark. And if that's the case, if I can just use the software in this Spark, I don't have to worry about third-party software. I don't have to worry about, is my drone going to fly away? If my drone flies away using DJI software, DJI is just going to send me another one because it's their fault. If I use Litchi or some other third-party software and my drone flies away or drops out of the sky, then that would void the warranty and I would be out all the money I spent on this little guy. So, safety first when you're flying drones, and that's kind of why I come out here to the ballpark, because other than that guy over there operating that heavy machinery, there's nobody out here. So if it runs into something or if it goes a little crazy and I have to bring it down, I don't have to worry about people being underneath it when I have to bring it down. But last thing I want is to bring this thing down, because I love this little guy. Sport mode is a blast. Anyway, this is about 360 videos. So the plan is, and the reason I'm doing this in 360 degree video is so that if you want to look around with your headset, you can after this process is over. I'm going to keep the drone where it's at, and it's going to point in this direction. Let's say this is north, and I'm going to point north. And on my display on my smartphone, I can see. I'm just going to line my drone up with one of the quadrant lines. So let's say north, and then I'm going to turn my drone until it's facing east, and I'm going to do another 180 degree panoramic, and then I'm going to turn it south, and then it's going to go around to west. And when I'm done with that, I'm going to have 4 180 degree panos, which should have a pretty decent overlap, and I can throw it into AutoPano Pro, or you can use Microsoft Ice or whatever stitching program you like to use. Alright guys, so here we go. Got the Spark calibrated, had to update the battery firmware. We're all updated, we're good to go. So here we go. Another good reason why we want to update the firmware but not use any third-party apps is because it takes a little while for the third-party apps to catch up to the update. So I've seen a lot of flyaways happen when someone uses a third-party app right after an update. Some people don't even want to update, but I think that's silly. So here we go, guys. Another issue is I'm always in the shot. So not only am I going to have to patch the sky, I'm going to have to patch the ground, but I'll be a dot on the ground, so it won't be a big deal. So it looks like there are no settings for it. So we're just going to try it. Trial and error. This is how we learn, guys. Trial and error. Trial and error. All right. So I'm going to make it simple, I'm going to point my arrow straight ahead, and we're going to go. So it's taking 21 photos. And it's taking them pretty fast. So what's nice about it taking photos with that gimbal is that the photos are going to be pretty sharp, because that gimbal there's not going to be a lot of motion blur from the photos. Something else to keep in mind when you're doing this, you need to see how much of the ground you're getting, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to compensate for the ground. Alright, so now, keeping my drone in the same spot, I'm going to point it, I'm going to turn it 45 degrees and do another panoramic. So we're taking 21 pictures, so we'll have 84 images. And if you think about it, this little drone still does 1080p video, or 1080i. So, or 1080. We'll just say 1080, because I don't have my facts straight. But you think about that, that times 81 images, that's a fat image. Is I'm going to point the camera down. And I'm going to point it straight down and see what that does. Okay, so it looks like to me that it's doing the original Pano again. Even though I pointed the camera down, as soon as I hit the Pano mode, the camera went back straight. So that does not work for our plan. Alright, I'm already getting a low battery warning, so I'm going to switch over to single shot. And I am going to take some manual shots. Just of the ground. Alright. So here we go, guys. As you can see, the battery's about to die. I've got 9%. But we're just going to go through and I'm going to show you how to stitch an image real quick. So we hit this little play button down in the corner, and I'm going to scroll down, and you'll notice that all of the images that I recorded in Pano mode have this little panoramic icon. And these images up here are just last-minute images I took of the ground just in case I needed them. There's a good chance I'm going to need them because, well, you'll see. But, so let's do the first, I believe this is the first image I took. And we're going to stitch the panoramic images. Boom. Look at that, guys. So that's a huge image of my sky. That's 180 degrees of what I was looking at. So once I create 4 of these, we should be good to go. Alright guys, so here what I've done is I've taken all of the images off of my DJI Spark and I've put them into one folder. And as you can see, each panorama has a folder on the drone. So I've put each folder into a main folder, and then what I've done is I've just opened every folder on my Mac and selected them. So I'm going to drag them over into AutoPano. And once I click this play button, it'll go through all these images and detect where things are. You can see right here there was some wind, so my props, they was fighting the wind pretty hard, but the fact that we got this out of it, and what I generally do is I'll go through in edit mode, and as you can see we're just missing a little bit of the sky, but I was able to get all the ground. I was able to, right through here is where the drone really did all the work by itself. I took a lot of these pictures down here after the fact, maybe 10 images of, you know, just getting enough of the ground to overlap so that I was able to handle it. And one other thing, here's a crop, and I always, if you do auto, well, usually it's down here and it takes out the sky. If you do full sphere and then export this as a PNG, what you'll get is it'll leave all this missing sky, it'll leave that invisible. And then basically what I do is in Photoshop I select some blues and I fade down, and I think with this one I grabbed this section of the sky and stretched it up, and then I fixed this edge with a gradient down to about here, so I like a hard blue, and then faded it out into nothing, and then on the sides I basically move the whole thing over about an inch and double it on the other side, and then I fix that seam. So here we go, guys. Just look around, and I'm going to leave this up here for about 30 more seconds, and you can look around. But that's how you make a panorama with the DJI Spark. Thanks for watching, guys.